Samoa Joe, curse your sudden and inevitable betrayal. Well, that's certainly one way to spice up this devil angle. Who is the devil? Do we get sympathy for the devil? Woo woo, halabaka, woo woo, halabaka, woo woo. Oh boy, I'm Joerpion with my review of AEW Dynamite New Year Smash or Pass 2023. You're getting this review earlier because I actually took 3 days off after working a whole bunch of extra hours during the holidays. And now as we head towards AEW World's End that I probably will still get, I gotta be perfectly honest guys, this is not a very good edition of Dynamite. The in-ring action was one thing, but they have dug themselves into a goddamn hole. They have gotten themselves into a place that they can't get out of, as you two once said, much more eloquently than me. Who do you think the devil is? It's not Samoa Joe. The reason it's not Samoa Joe, pleasure doing business with you, it's not Samoa Joe. He's in league with the devil when, I'm just going to get to that in a little bit. Because I took quite a few notes. And depending on how AEW World's End goes, I'm kind of reaching my apex of reviewing AEW Weekly. I mean, I haven't reviewed WWE Weekly for a bit, and it's starting to really grate on my nerves. For all the good that AEW has done, providing an alternative, and they had a pretty, solid crowd there, about 6,000 people or so, in a 10,000-seat arena. Orlando, they haven't been in Florida in a while. It wasn't Daly's place. World's End is in 3 days. They had to change around some matches. They added like 3 or 4 matches. And I don't know if I'm going to review Rampage. I think Collision and Rampage are together. Or there's no Collision this week. I actually don't know. Because if I'm right, World's End is on Saturday. Well, they're not going to have a Collision as well. Wild Thing, you hear the Mox thing, and then you hear the Orlando Magic are not groovy in the NBA's Wild Thing. Swerve gets a pop. Also, Jay White is there. So it's Mox, Jay White, and Swerve. Gold League Final, 3 men, Human Centipede together. The second weirdest Oreo I've seen on camera. You don't want to know about the first. Or you do, but I'm not going to tell you because can't talk about that until the cases are settled. Always delete your search history, folks. So, no time limit. And by Christ was that proven, because this is about twice as long as any other league match. Look, there has been some good in-ring action, and I do like the no interferencing or no seconds. I get that, but it's been counterproductive because they could have done more clean finishes or more stuff where heels had to cheat just a little bit and no interference, no bullshit, no referees having to look the other way for minutes on end. They went into the crowd within a few minutes, and Swerve put Mox on a chair and then hit a knee. And I know that these 3-ways and all this stuff is supposed to be where anything goes, and I get that. That's a modern thing. That's something that's been done for a while, and I don't mind them letting the wrestlers tell the story. But you can't tell me that this doesn't get mind-fucking-numbing between WWE, AEW, New Japan, all this stuff. Hell, in New Japan, you could practically, hack off someone's limb. As long as it's outside the ring, you're fine. And the crowd loved Swerve. They loved Mox. They knew that Jay White existed. Much like I just acknowledged that Jay White exists. Look, he has been back from his excursion in Japan. I think he wrestled in Ring of Honor and stuff like that in late 2017. So it's been about 6 years. He's as good as he's ever going to be. He's as interesting as he's ever going to be. A crossbody to the outside, or a frog splash. I called it more of a crossbody. And a break. Shivani says, we will stay with this thing until the very end. I'm going to say right now, this is something that they have to fucking address. They had no problem ending the show before, or they would have an overrun. This is something they need to address, and I will explain why. Fortunately for me, the cable or satellite system, right, that I use, we can set the DVR an hour ahead if we want, or to record extra in case a movie runs over, if we want to record Spenguli, or record movies, and record a little aftermath on Turner Classic Movies. So it's always set an hour ahead. I always catch the overrun, because usually I have to close on Wednesday nights, Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. That's why if I review NXT Weekly, it's done Wednesday morning, and Dynamite's usually done Thursday morning. So I get that not everybody can do that, and everybody's got different ways of watching. Some watch it on Sling, some watch it on YouTube TV, some watch it through nefarious means. Not the movie Nefarious. Check out my 25 best and worst movies list of the year. on the Real Honest Movie Reviews playlist. Anyway, so nevertheless, they need to start cutting some stuff down and getting it in 2 hours, or talk to the cable companies, get your 5 to 10 minute overrun. Warner Bros. Discovery is really going to start pissing a whole bunch of people off, because cable system or Warner Bros. Discovery issue, I don't care. I love it, as Iconic Pop once said. God, what a duo that is. They need to start addressing this shit, and they need to stop letting so many matches go so long. Pay-per-view card plugs. A chair got brought out. We go to a second ad break. The crowd was into it. They were into Swerve. A Blade Runner, that gets broken up. A chair, the referee can't do shit. Not that the referees are really allowed to do anything, and I like a couple of the referees in AEW. I love Aubrey. Bryce is a pretty good referee. Paul Turner is a good referee. You know, Rick Knox. And there are other ones there too. Stephon Smith. There are referees that actually can do good, but they're made to look ineffective. Eventually, we get Mox getting the victory. This is 24 minutes. Okay, so maybe it wasn't twice as long as some of them, but we were at 30 minutes into the goddamn program. And unfortunately, this would be the only in-ring action we got to see for a bit. And I'll tell you how long in a little bit. Collision recaps. How we got to the Blue League final. Shivani is with Swerve and Nana. Swerve's upset because he hasn't been given a chance to really relax. His shoulder's torn up. Oh, Keith Lee, you finally want to address all this stuff after a year? Yes, it's been a year, folks. It's been a goddamn year. Maybe a year and a week. And right after Rick Knox, or not Rick Knox, but Rick Ross said, oh, you're a big motherfucker, live on cable. Anyway, so a contract is already prepared, and if Keith Lee wants to face Swerve, then they'll do it this Saturday. So they're going to sign the contract during the pre-show. I understand that they can't form the entire pay-per-view always, especially with a tournament like this, but you can't tell me that they couldn't have put more of these matches together and given the implication that more stuff was actually going to be fully set up. A year of a feud that, quite frankly, really wasn't all that great when it happened. The Luau Cinder Block got busted across across Lee's chest, and he was out for a while. And I think the action will be good, but this company feels dry. And the three-way was fine, but I've seen so many multi-person matches. Men, women, animal, vegetable, mineral. Renee is with Mariah May, and her debut will be next week. That's all I got out of it. And then suddenly, Fluffer Riho shows up. Oh boy. This stick bug. She takes them all out. If Riho wins on Saturday, I might just actually say fuck it. I might just say I'm not even paying attention to the AEW Women's Championship. I don't hate her as a person. I hate this idea that she is considered a wrestler. It's not believable watching her. It has never been believable since the first time she showed up. It works in Japan. It doesn't work for a wide audience. At least it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for a vast majority of people. So, Top Action Flight, a.k.a. Top Flight and Action Andretti, are talking. Rocky, Cassidy, and Trent challenge him for a match on Rampage. Okay. And then Action Andretti guzzles a bottle of water and squishes it. Cool. And then we go backstage with Lexi telling Christian, hey, Copeland will be here. Shayna Wayne looking lovely as ever is standing there. Nick Wayne playing this role perfectly just there. And Christian is trying to make this work. God, he is trying to make this work because Lexi is not really capable of making anything happen. So, anyway, Miro pre-tape. I hope that CJ can heal up because that looked really brutal. And I hope she can heal up. He's going to take out Andrade El Olio. Again, I hope that CJ heals, doesn't travel, unless she's going to have a full-on gauze cast on her hand so she doesn't get the infection again. She shouldn't travel for a bit until she's better. Because that looked brutal. The infection apparently spread up to her arm. The pictures were vile. And I've watched a lot of horror movies, and I feel bad for her going through that. Miro versus Andrade ought to be interesting. It's had all of, I don't know, a few teases of build. And then Shivani brings out the Don Callis family. They remembered Takeshita exists. They remember Hobbs exists. Kyle Fletcher is also there. And Don NDA Callis, Don Scarlet Fever Callis. Okay, fuck you, Callis Chance. And I forgot about Takeshita. Has he been wrestling? I know he wrestled Jericho at a DDT Pro event, but like really, you couldn't have featured him on the main program. He beat Omega. Did that, and who knows if Omega's going to come back? We may never get that, blow off match. So there are all these pictures. One is of Callis and Fletcher punching kangaroos. I know Kangaroo Jack was a bad movie, but come on. Here's Sammy. I forgot Sammy Guevara was there. I didn't miss Sammy Guevara at all. Apparently him and Ty had their child recently. Good for them. Give this marriage 2 years. Sammy, sees his painting. Everybody's there, including the kid. Who gave you permission to put my kid on there? I don't know who did the paintings, but they did a really good job. And I mean that. That's not me joking. That's not me with sarcasm. That's incredible art. That is incredible art. So, Sammy got hurt. He was gone for 5 months. It wasn't long enough, as far as I'm concerned. And I met Sammy at an indie show almost 5 years ago. He was a nice guy. He can do some cool flips, but the problem is he's done everything that he can. He's gone from face to heel to face to heel to tweener to face to heel to tweener to face to heel, so on and so forth into infinity. They've had a chance to have him break out multiple times. He's fucked himself out of so many goddamn, pushes and all that. It's gotten ridiculous. And because he blew so many goddamn opportunities, there you go. We get the Callis family beating him down. Sudden face turn because Omega's out, and here's Jericho with his bat. He fights everybody off, hits the pictures, and then hands Sammy the bat, and he bashes the one that they did. That's a waste of good art. That was good. Good art, though. Whoever did that, really, I really, really hope they got paid. I really hope they got paid good, because that's some good shit. So, yeah, then they hug. Oh boy, Jericho, after he beat down Jericho, after Jericho had joined the Callis family, and Sammy turned, and they did all this stuff, and all this vile stuff, and then Sammy got hurt, and now he's back, and no one cares. Now he's a face. And then Bog Bill and Starks attack. And then the lights go out. I'm like, oh, the House of Black is here. No, it's Darby and Sting. God, this was a mess. This went on forever. Bog Bill was limping badly. I hope he's okay. I hope he didn't suffer an injury, because he did have that knee injury in 2017. I think they kept him out for a while. Then he got fired from WWE shortly after coming back. Had to go through all that stuff. So hopefully, because Starks can only do so much. Speaking of only doing so much, Renee was with Sting. Or Renee's with Strong, I mean. It would be funny if Sting was doing this, because Sting would just say, showtime, hit the stuff, and left. Strong and the Kingdom, MJF's the devil, and it's this weird pie chart thing with a whole bunch of cat's cradle and a silver spoon. The bad booking needs to be sent to the moon. Danielson, Eddie Kingston, in the Blue League final, they chopped the shit out of each other. 35 minutes since the end of the first match in this match, and I know I'm not saying that you need to have action, action, action. You can tell a good story. You can have talking segments to sell you on the pay-per-view. Here's the problem. None of those talking segments are good. None of them. None. And that Callis thing went on a really long time. They chopped each other. They kicked each other. It was the idea Danielson was going to anger Kingston. Kingston kept fighting back. Danielson kept beating the shit out of his knee, his arm. Kept breaking him down. We went through a second break. I'm not going to complain about the fact that they laid the shit in, though. I will say the chops, it gets to the point where it gets not even a little bit nauseating. It just gets to a little bit like, okay, what else do you have? Because Danielson's chest was beat red. More chops. Chops, chops, and more chops. It's like Jay Buhner locally saying trucks, trucks, and more trucks. Anybody that is Washingtonian, as far as Western Washington, probably gets that. You are all y'all are otherwise are confused. A Northern Lights bomb for 2. A Bukkake knee for 2. And more shit. Danielson is going to kick his head in, get some boos. The crowd popped for the back fist, and then a power bomb. 1, 2, 3. Kingston roars from the back, gets the victory, wins the Blue League final. He's going to face Moxley. Here's Moxley to check on Danielson. And then he talks to Kingston. They fire back and forth. Mox says, you're going to have... you're going to have to prove yourself, and you're going to have to work hard to get anything that you want. To get everything you want, to get everything you need, because if there's one thing I'm going to do, God damn it, it will be to bleed. Okay, Vertical Horizon has nothing to worry about with what I'm doing. So, then Eddie basically says, I'll push you on Saturday, that you said I can't quit AEW because I need to be around for the young talents. And look, it was a well-told story. I'm not going to complain about that. And they're trying to, they obviously are friends. They obviously know each other, even if they've had tension in their friendship because of Eddie's demons and Moxley's demons. They seem to have gotten over. I don't mind them doing this. My problem is, it's not long-term storytelling. It's going this direction and then coming back to something that, quite frankly, should have been wrapped up before. But then again, Mox was in rehab for a bit in 2021 and came back, and you know what? I hope the match is going to be good. I just hope that maybe they can wrestle and not do so much hardcore stuff. And Mox doesn't have to take somebody outside the ring where they just say, oh, let's just let him do whatever. So, Lexi's with Christian, Shayna, and Nick. Copeland instantly jumps in. We get a pull apart with a bunch of guys. I think the Von Erichs were there. That is what we're doing with the Von Erich boys of the Von Erich boy. Okay, moving on. Statlander took on Sky Blue. Tremendous camera work during this. Tremendous camera work. Stokely joined commentary. I didn't think they had a booster seat big enough to help him see over the goddamn top of the announcer's table, but nevertheless, he sounds like a human helium balloon. He literally sounds like somebody from Munchkinland, except somebody from Munchkinland had the benefit of at least, being kind of hilarious with how short they are. I don't really... He can cut a halfway decent promo. I can't take him seriously. Aubrey's made to look like an idiot later, and Aubrey's not an idiot. They laid some shit in. The camera totally missed Julia attacking Statlander. It's like the camera is fixated on Sky Blue and Aubrey, which I get. Who wouldn't be distracted by those two as far as their look and as far as what they bring to the table? But seriously, you have Julia over there giving it to Statlander in the face. Yes, that's a euphemism right there. And then eventually, we get an Avalanche Code Blue 1, 2, 3, and then Willow runs out to stop a beatdown. And then Abaddon, Abaddon runs out, and we get that. So, Renee is up with Saraya, Defender of Abuserverse, and Ruby. Ruby is going to get a match with Marina Shafir, except we don't know her. Harley, or Holly, or Hardly, Hardly out there. Hello, Hardly. The blonde from the former QTV that is thankfully defunct now. Thankfully. What can we get Johnny Morrison, Nitro, Thunder Impact on the program doing something good? Team him and Taya together. They're a Dynamite couple in real life. Anyway, Hardly is there, and she's dressed like a farmer's daughter for some reason, and Saraya says, she's going to help you. She's going to be your assistant. And let's try this thing. And she pulls out a knife. Why does she? I don't care if it's a prop knife. Why is there a knife? Why? What the? This isn't Memphis where you could do some goofy shit. And more people watched. What is happening? More matches for the pay-per-view. They turned the tag match into an 8-man tag. 2 minutes till the end of the actual runtime. And the Devil Goons come through the crowd. I'm convinced that was Bennett and Taven. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying as far as crisp workers and people that could take proper bumps, I'm guessing it was them. So anyway, MJF comes out to a pop, and Joe is down in the back. He's clutching his knee. Oh no! Nothing good could come of this. MJF says, fuck it, I'm going to defend the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. So, he beats up the Goons, has his arm almost in a goddamn sling, because his shoulder is really fucked, and he's really not doing all that well, and probably needs time off. And a third guy suddenly shows up from under the ring, while Bryce Remsburg is seemingly distracted by a space alien up in the goddamn nosebleeds. And MJF gets piped, and then hit with a heat seeker variation, and then the feet are on the ropes, 1, 2, 3, so new Tag Team Champions, the Devil Goons. The Devil's Goons, whatever. And then Joe comes out, limping, and carrying a chair. And then, suddenly the graphic comes up. Pleasure doing business with you. And then Joe does the Shield thing where he hits MJF with the chair. And that's it. That's it. He beats him up, hits him with the Muscle Buster. I did this to you. So Samoa Joe instead, and this is all I got to goddamn say about these notes. There was a few good things on there, but this was a terrible go-home show. Joe could have simply just earned MJF's trust, defended the tag titles, and done all this stuff, and battled, and then Joe could have been laid out, and then Joe could have come down and done this without being in league with the devil. Just could have done that. Instead, they got to do the stupid Black Scorpion bullshit. This stuff that didn't work when Jim Herd did it led to the major downfall in business. Look at the WCW buy rates. Google that shit. They weren't doing shit for business. They tanked badly as far as ratings and as far as other stuff. Because it basically killed Sting's run. Sting was white hot, even though he'd come back from a knee injury at Great American Bash 1990. And MJF, more back to his, how he used to be and everything. And maybe World's End will be fine. But this devil storyline has been terrible. Joe being a full-on vicious dick heel, I'm all for that. The problem is it's been how they built it up. And if Joe does not win at the pay-per-view, then he's going to look like an idiot. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Joerpion. I'll see you soon.